The U.S. president has delivered the 2026 State of the Union address. But here is what actually matters. This speech can influence military spending, industrial investment, and alliance stability. In the next few minutes, we will explain what this speech can change, what it cannot change, who has the real power to decide, and why the world is watching Congress, not the podium. No law changed tonight, no money was spent, but the direction of U.S. policy may have shifted. That shift begins here. The State of the Union is required by the Constitution. Once a year, the President reports to Congress on national priorities. It is not a law. It does not authorize spending. It does not change regulations. It defines what the White House will try to turn into law. In the United States system, the President proposes policy. Congress controls money. That means lawmakers can approve, reduce, delay, or block what the President outlines. This year's address linked economic policy and national security more tightly than before. Defense spending, manufacturing capacity, energy production, and technology investment were described as one unified strategy. Economic strength was framed as a security tool. Factories and supply chains were described as strategic assets. If Congress agrees with this framing, funding could increase for defense production, semiconductor facilities, and energy systems. If Congress disagrees, funding levels may stay flat or decline. The speech starts the process. Congress decides the scale. Allies do not measure commitment by speeches alone. They measure it by budgets. If the President promises support for NATO, but Congress reduces defense allocations, the signal weakens. If funding matches the speech, credibility strengthens. Budgets show what a government truly prioritizes. Countries in Europe and Asia depend on U.S. security guarantees. They monitor both rhetoric and appropriations. If funding is stable, alliance planning becomes predictable. If funding becomes uncertain, partners adjust their strategies. Competitor states also analyze this address. When the United States frames competition as long-term, it signals sustained investment. But sustained investment requires sustained funding. That decision now moves to Congress. No new law was enacted during this speech. No emergency powers were used. No constitutional authority shifted. This was agenda setting. Execution depends on legislation. After the speech, proposals move into congressional committees. Committees review details, estimate costs, and draft spending bills. The Congressional Budget Office evaluates how proposals affect the federal deficit. Lawmakers can amend or reduce funding before final votes. U.S. federal budgets influence military readiness, industrial production, and global trade flows. Because the United States remains a central actor in the international system, its spending priorities affect other countries. The 2026 State of the Union defines direction. It does not execute policy. Whether this strategy becomes reality depends entirely on congressional approval and enacted appropriations. International News Network will monitor votes and funding decisions, not speeches alone.